Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're doing fine. Here is the final and last part of our Jinn series story number 1. Now sit back and listen carefully. My wife had only one condition for divorce, which is to let her keep our son, and I agreed, and my mother left and refused to talk to me again. She did not approve of the divorce and my new lifestyle, and I was left alone. Kala came to me that day and said, "Prostrate to me and you'll become my husband." I got confused and she repeated, "Make sujud to me." And I sadly did it. Indeed, the jinns don't do anything for you except that they take more in return. I had degraded myself while Allah gave me honor, and that's my first punishment. Kala married me and sent some of her guards to be with me all the time, and I hunted for more treasures, and my wealth grew and more people started to question, until one day I was visited by police. Someone had told them I was a magician because they saw me many times at night going to the graveyard, but since they had no proof, so nothing happened, until one day I remembered the old woman and told Kala about what she asked me to do for her, and Kala replied, "Forget about her, she can't do anything to you." Few days later, the old witch came to my house with a very angry face. She said, "Didn't I tell you to not play with me? It's been months and you did not fulfill your part of the pact." And Kala appeared and herded her, and the old woman looked at me before leaving and said, "You will pay for this." The Jinn Queen told me about a place where there was a hidden treasure, and I brought 5 of my cousins to dig. They all knew about my lifestyle and magic, and they agreed to help, but Kala said, "This time, in order for me to help, a human sacrifice is needed." I got scared and said, "You cannot be serious. I never needed a human sacrifice before." And she said, "Either you spill blood or the consequences will not be good for you." I knew that it was a plot from her. After all, she is a shaitana, so what did I expect? I knew she would ask more and more and turn on me one day. I knew I would pay the price high, and I had no choice but to do as she said, or I'll be the one who will end up hurt. Kala was mischievous like all her kind, and I had no choice but to do as she said, so I found a crazy homeless man and chose him because I knew that no one would search for him, and when my cousins saw him and learned about what we would do to him, they got shocked. 3 of them finally agreed because they wanted this money as much as me, and 2 refused, and they all fought, and with the influence of the shayateen in that place, I don't know how, but one of them plunged a knife in the back of one of my cousins, and indeed blood was spilled. We all stood in shock looking at the lifeless body of our cousin, and I asked all 4 of them to take the body and bury it somewhere, and I took the crazy homeless man back to where I found him. The next day police came to take me. Apparently someone saw my cousins burying the body and reported us to police, and I got to know after that it was the old witch that had her revenge on me. Finally, I had no choice but to tell the police about everything, and I was charged with murder plus practicing magic, and I ended up in prison. I lost everything all at once for what? Nothing. Some of the prisoners started to recite Quran and I couldn't bear it. I was burning from the inside, and apparently I lost consciousness many times, and one of the prisoners noticed my state. He understood I was possessed, and he read Quran many times on me, and Kala stopped coming to me because of the Quran, and she abandoned me because that's what the shayateen do in the end. No one came to visit me in prison except a good cousin, and I learned that my ex-wife got married to a good man. What did I expect? That she would forgive me and come back to me? Now not only another man was blessed with my wife, who was a great woman, but another man will raise my son, and that's enough punishment to kill me inside every day that pass. I started praying again and repented, but guilt will never leave me. I was so focused in money that I failed to see my real blessings. Until today, it is said that Yasser is still in prison, and the story was counted by his cousin as a lesson for anyone thinking of taking the path of Shaitan.